Let's take a trip to the NFL, the sport where owners don't matter at all, and that's because they have salary floors, salary caps, and the owners are forced to spend money. But in Major League Baseball, it's the complete opposite. If ownership is bad for your favorite team, it's more than likely that you won't see any playoff berths. And just go and ask a Pirates fan. I'm someone who lives in Pittsburgh, and I understand the fan morale is very bad. In 2007, Bob Nutting bought the team. Early on, he made it very clear that they would not be spending money. In his very first 3 seasons as the owner, they were bottom 3 in payroll. Fans were fed up so early on because they hadn't won in so long. The last playoff appearance was actually in 1992. There wasn't a whole lot to be excited about overall. Spend nutting, win nutting became a saying for Pirates fans across baseball. But finally, after owning the team for 6 years, they made it to the playoffs.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks for the plate. Here's the throw. It is out. The Buccos win it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
And in fact, they made it in 2013, 14, and 15. This was the Pittsburgh Pirates at their absolute best. But quickly, the team would be disassembled and a rebuild would ensue. Fast forward to 2023, and the Pirates are still in a playoff drought, looking for the year that they finally get in and make a splash. General Manager Ben Cherington had the opportunity to step in 2019, and he had the job of rebuilding this team. They had an underwhelming farm system, with almost nothing to work with at the MLB level. The 2020 offseason would be the very first one where he got to work. The one thing I'll say is he has been a master at trades and a master at flipping players for prospects, managing to get players like Jack Sawinski, David Bednar, and more. These are some of their very best players, and you could thank Ben Cherington for that. But here's the deal. Pittsburgh is notorious for acting poor, and I mean really poor. Rarely ever extending a player, and instead beginning a rebuild after their players' contracts are coming up. But something has since been changed. The Pirates are still towards the bottom of the league with payroll, but they're operating differently. As we know, the Atlanta Braves started a trend of extending a player whenever they're very young. So instead of giving a superstar a mega deal, you pay them when they're young and unproven, and then you get a big bargain. Well, anything to save Bob Nutting money, that's going to be something that he wants to try to do, and that's exactly what the Pirates have done. In 2020, Ke'Bryan Hayes made his debut. The third baseman was one of their top prospects in the system, with an unbelievable glove and good offense. The young third baseman signed a contract extension in 2022. 8 years, $70 million. This is something Pittsburgh had never done before, which is of course giving a player a long-term contract with a lot of money. The very next season, they extended Brian Reynolds, the star outfielder on the team who is also arguably the best player. This time, it was 8 years for $106 million. This Bob Nutting was different, especially when you consider the fact that he has never done anything like this in the past. This was a man with a plan. At least that's what it was coming to seem like. But this offseason came around, and the Pirates just needed a quality pitcher or two. The division is up for grabs in 2024, so fans hope to see a big move made. Instead, they got washed veterans who have not been very good, continuing the Pittsburgh Pirates' way of not spending money. The fan morale this offseason has been quite low. A few days ago, there was a rumor that they would be getting Edward Cabrera. That rumor never came to fruition, and fan morale has yet again dropped. Yesterday, Pirates fans got a really interesting article, one that absolutely bashed the Pirates owner Bob Nutting and exposed him for who he truly is. With former players, former coaches, and former executives all coming out against Bob Nutting. The Athletic said, former GM Neil Huntington once asked Bob Nutting for $8 million, and it was just to upgrade their spring training facilities. Their spring training clubhouse was built in 1923. Did you hear that? 1923! So yeah, Neil Huntington wanted to go and get this renovated. Nutting said, okay, yeah, you can go and renovate it, but you would have to take this out of the baseball operations budget. The one that's supposed to be in charge of building the team, the one that's supposed to be used for players and staff, that budget. They ended up making these renovations, and money was over time taken out of the payroll to pay back this project. This owner, that is worth $1 billion, was too cheap to cover this small project, but this just shows how pathetic that he truly is. Nutting plans for the team to be the Tampa Bay Rays, be the organization that does not have to spend money to win games. Except the Pirates have not been able to do that at all. In fact, no one is the Tampa Bay Rays, no one is the Atlanta Braves. You cannot combine these two models and think that you're going to be doing it better than them. 20 different current and former players anonymously spoke about the problems with the team, discussing how bad the draft history is, discussing how bad that the player development is, all of it. In fact, third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes sought to secretly get help from the Pirates' AA hitting coach because of how bad that the ones are at the MLB level. One player in the organization said that players had been going to this coach for a long time seeking help. Ke'Bryan Hayes said, "I didn't want to ruffle any feathers, but then it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? This is my career. At the end of the day, I've got to do what's best for me." By the way, the Pirates later fired that hitting coach, which is absolutely pathetic. I mean, the team had a hitting coach problem at the MLB level in Andy Haynes, yet you go and fire the AA guy that everyone likes? Okay, Pittsburgh, no worries, because it said that Hayes is still meeting with this coach to this day. In 2021, they had a hitting school for AAA players who struggled at the MLB level. One of those players was a former first-round pick, Cole Tucker. He said that he would only do the school if they allowed the AA hitting coach to be a part of it. Of course, he was not fired at that point in 2021, so it ended up happening. Then in 2023, Ke'Bryan Hayes went to a private hitting facility. He was seeking help because the Pirates could not help him. He said, "I was trying this and that, and it wasn't working. I was just like, I don't feel like being frustrated anymore." Again, this team is dysfunctional. I mean, players have made it very, very clear that they are being handicapped by a bad owner. A Pirates instructor told The Athletic, "I've been in some meetings where my jaw dropped because we'd have to wait a day to trade a guy because it was just going to go and save us $30,000. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm hearing this. This is a $10 billion industry." Now, this just shows you what kind of an owner that he is. And, you know, he's the one that only cares about his pockets. And remember how I said that they made the playoffs 3 years in a row that one time? Well, it probably could have even been 4 years. Players felt that the team wasn't too far away from winning and would have just needed a little bit of help. But Bob Nutting instead decided to do nothing. A former player said, "He pulled out so quick. He was kind of comfortable stepping back and being mediocre." And the payroll only went down from there, with the Pirates, of course, entering their rebuild. Now, again, the current day Pirates are doing some things right, like extending players, and not to mention, prospects are finally coming up. But this brings us into our next topic of discussion. Pittsburgh has an awful development system, and it's very evident every time that a player gets to the big leagues. The transition has been hard for pretty much every single Pirates prospect. For Reynolds, Hayes, and Cruz, it was pretty easy, but for Contreras, Priester, Davis, Rodriguez, and Gonzalez, it was not at all. And it's no coincidence that the majority of their prospects are failing as soon as they get to the major league level. Hell, even look at Mitch Keller. His transition to the big leagues was actually terrible. A lot of fans didn't believe in him, and I would even find it hard to believe that some coaches even believed in him. I mean, a 6.12 ERA in 46 starts? He was brutal. So they've got to do a much better job at making sure that these guys are ready. And not just that, you have to actually get them ready. You have to coach them. And that also means adjustments whenever they get to the MLB level. It's been this way for a long time with the development. I mean, let's go all the way back to when Garrett Cole was a Pittsburgh Pirate. He had a lot of good years with the team, don't get me wrong. But it came time that they were ready to trade Cole. He had 2 years left under team control, and the Pirates got 0 prospects out of him. An evaluator told The Athletic, it was almost like, we have to get rid of that money. Which, keep in mind, it was only $6 million. Also, it's no coincidence that after he left, he pitched to have some of the best seasons of his entire career. Garrett Cole had this to say about his days with Pittsburgh. "I saw how much the Pirates mean to the city and the people of Pittsburgh. I so badly want them to have that relationship with their team again. It just means so much to those fans. It really does." Or do you remember whenever Joe Musgrove was a Pirate or Tyler Glasnow? They all had their best days post-Pittsburgh Pirates. The main reason for that is because of the coaching, but in the front office side, things are also pretty dysfunctional. Cherington was once moving towards a more analytical style organization, which ended up causing a major divide with the entire team. The ones who were upset ended up leaving the organization, and the man to thank for it all is Bob Nutting. He's the one letting this type of a clown show go on, and it's been for such a long time as well. The Pirates' payroll is projected to be the second lowest in MLB, only ahead of the Oakland Athletics. It's been many years since the Pirates gave a multi-year contract to someone in free agency. But don't worry, they signed 7 players to 1-year contracts. Nutting's way of justifying not spending any money is by saying that they are extending players. And yeah, I agree, extending players is a very good way to actually build your team. But being 29th in payroll? Are you kidding me? Go and spend some money. And I do truly think that he went and did take offense to the Athletics article, because one day after that article came out, they signed Mitch Keller to an extension. 5 years, $77 million? Great move for the team in the long run. I mean, we absolutely like that. But this was completely a PR stunt. What are the odds that one day after the article comes out, he extends Keller? Either way, I like the move, but Pittsburgh has a lot to get done, because if you truly want to go and build your team and continue winning, you have to go and extend everyone. That includes players like David Bednar. Go and make it happen. Anyways, what do you guys think? I hope you guys enjoyed. Sell the team, Bob. Subscribe if you haven't already, and peace out.